Good evening, everyone. It is a privilege for my wife, Marcy, and I to be here tonight in your company and to celebrate and pay tribute to individuals that are in the business of transforming lives. The Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce was founded in 1989 as a nonprofit organization to advance the economic and commercial welfare and prosperity of its Hispanic business members and the Hispanic community at large. Tonight, it is my honor to recognize and pay tribute to a person who has dedicated her life to providing hope to our youth and their families, to providing compassionate communication. Over her career, she has been recognized for her community service and outstanding contributions in the Detroit Public Schools. She has many accomplishments in the areas of education, leadership, mentoring, and bilingual and bicultural training for Hispanic youth and young adults. Tonight, I'd like to share with you glimpses of her walking with her people, recognizing the cultural diversity of the Hispanic community and promoting unity, inclusiveness, and education of Hispanic people. Tonight, I present the Spark of Hope Award to Sister Rosalie Esquerra, Adrian Dominican's sister and co-founder of Life Directions. The third child of 13 kids born to Eva Torres and Raymond Badia Esquerra in Kingman, Arizona, Sister Rosalie remembers a very caring home environment as a young Mexican American. These fond memories of a loving and caring family extended to others in the community, as she vividly remembers her father and mother's way of treating people. Her father worked in construction and would often bring home strangers off the streets or coming through town to give them a meal. Her mother never complained and always had enough food. From a young age, she experienced prejudice and discrimination against Mexicans who weren't allowed to work in stores, and the need to overcome. Sister Rosalie would go on to make a career of being in la lucha, the struggle, always seeking how she could be a companion to those struggling and address the systemic issues from an equity standpoint, not equality. This approach has been pivotal in teaching hope to children and their parents. While recognized for her impact in the field of education, Sister Rosalie acknowledges that management by objectives has never been her style. She's not about measured academic outcomes and has made it her mission to focus on an attitude towards life versus prioritizing education. Instead, management by wandering is her style. According to Sister Rosalie, the results come from walking with you, engaging in a human relationship with you. Education is just along for the ride. And in doing so, she recognized that the differentiator is in the response, not in what you know or don't know, but how you listen and respond. This is the spark of hope. As white flight to the suburbs from Detroit took off in 1970s Michigan, Detroit's racial composition began to change. One of the places that was apparent was in the city's public school system. The movement of Detroit's white population to the suburbs left the city and its schools majority black. And the solution presented was inter-district busing, a plan where inner-city and suburban students would be bused together with a quota reflecting the region's diversity, not just the individual districts. From 1974 to 1976, Sister Rosalie was employed as the director of the Emergency School Assistance Act for La Sede, responsible to administer a federal grant to aid Hispanic youth and keep them in the Detroit public schools as busing began from Livonia to Detroit and Detroit to Livonia. Hispanic parents quickly realized the ramifications of such an experiment and were against this for their children and themselves. And it became evident to Sister Rosalie that the project would be difficult to administer for many reasons. not the least of which were due to the Spanish language barrier and transportation aspects for both the children and their parents. As a result, she made an historic, persuasive presentation to the Board of Education of Detroit Public Schools, arguing for the need to maintain bilingual education and the need to make decisions that help students and parents, not disrupt their lives. The criticality of not treating people like they are objects that can be moved around. The need to have conversation with each other and learn how to get along with people of diversity. And the need to demonstrate their value, walk alongside them, embrace them. And when she finished, one of the 20 Hispanic mothers in attendance presented a small apple to the Board of Education, communicating in Spanish with Sister Rosalie translating. This is what we have. I want you to slice it and share it with people on your board, providing a simple yet powerful visual of how the Hispanic community would be sliced to the core and divided through this experience. As our judge shared, the result was that the Board of Education rescinded its decision to bus the children out of Detroit, acknowledging that Hispanic children were not ready linguistically to communicate monolingually, and the need to start where people are versus preferred outcomes of where we want them to be. And so, inspired by the hearts of many mothers, Sister Rosalie drew from her heritage of being family, the importance of talking with each other, and never walking alone in the struggle. Out of this experience was a need for facilitators. Out of this came Focused Life, later changed to Life Directions. Hermana, gracias por tu ejemplo profundo y impactante en las vidas de tantos, en particular la juventud, la generación del futuro. Tu vida ha sido llena de chispas de esperanza que nuestro Señor ha utilizado para transformar vidas. And so, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Michigan Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, please join me in celebrating our 2021 Spark of Hope Award recipient to Sister Rosalie Esquerra, co-founder of Life Directions, in recognition of your pioneering spirit and commitment to the education and prosperity of Hispanic students.
Dios está aquí, qué hermoso es. Él lo prometió donde hay dos o tres. Quédate, Señor, quédate, Señor, quédate, Señor, aquí. El Espíritu de Dios se mueve, se mueve, se mueve. El Espíritu de Dios se mueve dentro de mi corazón. And just know that the Spirit of God, as He moves in my heart, moves in yours. Some of these points were mentioned already, but when I want to thank you, Mark, for your comments. You certainly captured my story. Thank you so much. I see myself standing with the 20 mothers in front of the school board. They all spoke in Spanish. And at the end, the school board said, okay, we'll keep bilingual education. And Jane Pentecost is a mother that encouraged the involvement of the Hispanic women. If you know Hispanics, many times the mothers especially are not hyper involved. But because of the encouragement and walking, Jane was able to get them together, and these 20 men and women are the ones that presented to the board in Spanish their demand for this good education for their children. And Ruben and Bertha, they've been my partners for almost 50 years. And
We were young. We were young.
And again, it's so important to touch the heart. And the only way you touch the heart is by being in communication. And so Ruben and Bertha walked with me and helped me listen and receive what the people were sharing. I place before you my prayer of thanks, which is a channel of God's love that flows through me to you. You too are channels of the Creator's love. Now I invite you to put your hands up, and symbolically it's being open to receive the Creator's love. Now, it's not just receiving, He received so that you can share, not turn them over. And this, the love of the Creator flows through you, flows through me to others. I pray we remember we are sparks of hope. And for young people, and I place before you this prayer of thanks for the love of God and caring that comes to us from the Creator. And again, it just flows through me. And that is, the Lord is here with us. And as we are open to receive His love, we remember that we're a channel of His love, and as a channel, it touches other people. So Dios está aquí, qué hermoso es. Él lo prometió donde hay dos o tres. He promised that He is with us wherever there are two or three together. So remember this as you continue to walk, and thank you so much for walking with us. We need you, and what we need is not just your money. It's your loving, caring attention and support. You have embraced the vision that we have, and that is to love, encourage, support our young people.
Gracias. Gracias, gracias, gracias.
We want to thank Sister Rosalie for that mid-meal prayer. That is her prayer. Was that a beautiful prayer?
Just so you know, we have walked together for close to 50 years. Father John, Father Alex, and myself began the walk, And we invited Reuben and Bertha, Judy and Alex McDonald, and Will and Tina O'Sullivan that walked with us.
Thank you.